All right, we are moving into something new. I am on page 31 in your packet, and we're going to talk about regression equations and correlation coefficients. So we're going to use the calculator to create linear and exponential equations. So what's needed is all the stuff that we written here, but what we're going to do is look at the graphs below and decide if each one is linear or exponential, and we're going to pick points to put them into the calculator. So starting with the first one, I see that this is a straight line. I know that it's linear, so I've chosen that it's linear, and now I'm going to pick 2 or 3 points to put into the calculator. So we've been over this before, but just as a reminder, a point is exactly where the line crosses the grid on the graph paper. So I have 1 point here. And to get that, I have to go 1, 2, 3 to the right and 1, 2, 3 up. So that point is 3, 3, both positive. I have another point right here, and this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right, 0 up. So 5, 0. And I have another point all the way over here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to the right, and 1, 2, 3 down. So that's positive 7, negative 3. I have enough points to figure out what the equation of this line is by using the calculator. So what we're going to do is turn it on. You want to make sure that your stat diagnostics is on. This is something we haven't talked about yet, but in order to do that, you're going to click mode. And if you look all the way down here, you have stat diagnostics. You want to make sure that on is highlighted. Okay, so press mode and make sure that your diagnostics are on. Then you're going to go to stat button. It's right here. You're going to hit stat and you're going to choose option 1 for edit. You have L1, which is going to be your first list or your input or your X values. So we have 3, 5, and 7. So I'm going to hit 3, enter, 5, enter, 7, enter. Now I'm going to use the arrow button to go over to my L2, my output or my Y values, and I'm going to put in what we have listed here, 3, 0, negative 3. 3, enter, 0, enter, negative 3, enter. Okay, so now I've put the points into the list in the calculator in the stat section. So what I'm going to do now is go back to stat, and I'm going to go over to calculate. And I'm going to choose option 4. I'm choosing option 4 because this says lin reg, which means linear regression. And I know that it's linear because of the line looking at the graph. So I'm going to choose option 4, make sure I have L1, L2, hit enter a bunch of times until I get this screen. This screen is telling me that I have y equals ax plus b, which is slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, except they use a for m. So it's negative 1.5 for my slope, x, plus 7.5 for my y-intercept. So if I write this, I'm just going to substitute in the a and the b. Negative 1.5 as a fraction would be 3 over 2. 3 over 2x plus 7.5. Okay, this r value here is negative 1. This r value is what's called the correlation coefficient. The closer that your correlation coefficient is to negative 1 or positive 1, the stronger your correlation is. So the next one, I look at here and I can tell that this is an exponential function from the curve. So I'm going to do the same thing that I just did with finding points. I have 1 point here, just 1, 2, 3, up 1. And I have another point here. I don't know if that was spot on, but we'll try it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. And I have one more point up here, which is 6, 8. Okay, so I'm going to go back to stat, edit. That's option 1. And in order to clear, I'm going to go up to highlight L1 and I'm going to hit clear and enter. And that gives me a fresh list to work with. So we're going to put in 3, 5, 6, 3, enter, oops, 5, enter, 6, enter. Go over to L2. Again, I'm going to scroll up to highlight L2, hit clear and enter, and put in my Y values. 1, 4, 8. Okay, so now the only difference now, we're going to do the same thing, go over to Stat and Calc, but this time I know that I'm dealing with exponential, and that's not going to be linreg, that's going to be exponential regression. So I have to scroll all the way down to the bottom, which is option 0. Make sure you have L1, L2, hit enter a bunch of times until you get this screen. This one is giving me the format for an exponential function, a times b to the x, where a is 0.125, b is 2. So we fill in the a and the b to write our equation. Y equals 0.125 times b, which is 2, to the x. And we have our equation for both functions. You will note on this one that our R value, the correlation coefficient, is 1, which means that it is a strong correlation. Should we continue? Let's continue just for this one up here. Number 3, it says write the equation of a line. I know that it's linear because it's telling me the equation of a line. So what I'm going to do, they already gave me points, is go back to Stat, choose Edit, and I'm going to clear my lists and put in the points that they give me. I have 2 x values, -2 and 3. And I have 2 y values, -11 and 14. I'm going to go over to Stat, Calc, and since it's linear, I want option 4. Enter a bunch of times, and then fill in your a and your b. So y equals 5x minus 1. And that's it. So you can use the calculator to figure out what you need. Try the next one where it says write an exponential function. So this one you're going to put your numbers, your x's into the L1 and your y's into L2. You're going to go to Stat, Calc, and you're going to choose option 0 for exponential regression and write that equation. And we will do the rest tomorrow.